I am currently sitting in a park that I have not been to since I was 11, 12 years old or something like that. Um, I had to come on a little journey to get a copy of my birth certificate. I've got to get a passport, and I'm running way too late to get it. So I was scrambling first thing this morning to go get my birth certificate, and to do that, I had to come back to the county I was in, and I was watching some sort of things that have changed. I was driving through. I haven't been here to look around in quite a while. It got me thinking about a lot of things that are happening now. Where I was born is actually a pretty small series of towns. And they're these little tight knit communities. And as I was looking at, the small general store and the small dentist office and the like the little economy that happens in these small towns, it got me thinking about AI and all of the cultural stuff that I'm always paying attention to, like, all of they're introducing these legislations and they're changing these things and they're trying to rewrite history, like all the things that everybody's sort of barking about in different types of media, right? And I'm like, I kind of looking at this small town going, I wonder how much of that is actually like meaningful here. And as I'm driving right now, I'm at a stop sign. This is right near where my grandparents lived, and I haven't been back here in a very long time. I haven't kept much relationship with a lot of this side of my family, and not intentionally. I don't have any issues with them or whatnot. Just we kind of fell out of sync a long time ago and have not really resynced in any sort of way. And if you know me, I'm kind of at this stage in my life business 24/7, so there's not a lot of relationships happening outside of that anyways. But like, as I'm driving up here, I'm thinking back on these memories and the different things that have happened on these lands, and the little economy of it all, this little ecosphere that is something different than a big city. It's something different than the hustle and bustle. And it got me thinking about, all of those kind of issues. Here I'm actually driving by the property. This is the first time I've seen it in a very long time. And it's like, will these cultural things, these technological changes, these big massive things actually change the way that people just interact and do business together, and do and not just business, right? Like, do interaction together, do human together. And we could argue in some ways it's already changed it, right? Because social media has changed things in such a profound way. And there are certainly implications to talk about in different sectors, right? How will AI take over jobs and this and that? But will it change the fabric of what makes us human and sort of, culturally in sync? Or maybe a better question is, will it cause us to be culturally out of sync? I think the answer is no. I think that people still have to human, right? You still have to do the things. If you got to go to the dentist, you go to the dentist. If you got to run to the store to grab your energy drink, right, you go grab your energy drink. AI's got nothing to do with it. And some people could argue, like, well, when AI makes it so easy that you don't have to actually interact with people, I might be a little bit of an idealist, but I think that people will get sick of not being around each other. As much as sometimes we're sick of being around each other culturally, and we kind of like self-isolate, and you've got neighbors that don't even know each other's names, and stuff like that have lived together for a very long time. That's something that doesn't last forever. And I don't think culturally we're in that direction. I think that happens more in big cities where people are really busy and focused on their lives. But what are they busy and focused on in their lives? Well, it's somehow, some way, serving other people through their work, through their activity, through their hobbies, through whatever it is they are doing. Just because they don't know their neighbor doesn't mean they're not, interested in things. So I don't know if this is a weird Facebook Live. It might not mean anything to anybody, but here's what I would ask you to do is consider some of the things that we're constantly contemplating at this cultural world level of things, of technological growth, of social growth, of social impact. But then go visit a small town and go just look at how things must have to move within that small town, how business is conducted, how relationships are formed, how people come together to do things at the local farmers market, or I'm driving by one right now. This is fresh produce on the side of the road. We have this all over up here where I live, local maple syrup, right? These are just people doing the thing that they love to do, and they offer it to the community, and the community, some part of it understands it's there and takes a place in it. It's very old world-ish. And I say that with quotes because it's not really old world. It's actually the world. It's how it all works. It just, in big cities and in news and constant chatter about it, it feels like it's bigger than it is. But it's really just humans interacting with humans. AI gives us a new way to do that. It gives us a new way to organize information, to do research, to format things in a way that's easier to understand. And in that sense, it'll actually amplify the ability for people to connect. I don't think it'll actually disconnect us in that way, because we won't have to focus on these other things that keep us from doing the things that we may actually want to be doing with other people. And, I'm not saying there's no dark side to it. There very well is, and there very well could be. But I don't know, driving through here this morning, it just kind of gave me a little bit of a refresh in my sort of sense of what humanity is, and just kind of observing, right? We've got construction crews doing what construction crews do over here. Somebody up here is walking down to the store. They're going to grab a morning coffee or whatever it is, right? There's food trucks doing deliveries. This is all still happening. And as obvious as that is, it's maybe not that obvious if we're inundated by news cycles and these other things. I don't know. Maybe it's a worthless realization. Maybe it's something that's not really worth your time to contemplate or consider. I found it useful this morning. I found it interesting. Right now I'm driving by a house that my grandmother owned, and I believe my aunt lives there now. And I think even my dad, that I've never met, lives there. I really don't know. There's dynamics around that and whatever, but I don't hold any animosity or anything. But it is interesting to go back in time to a place where I spent some time when I was a kid and see that it's still this thriving little environment where people are experiencing life, right? That's very different than technology and all of the things we think about there and all of those implications. So if you have a minute, take some time today and appreciate humanity for the sake of humanity. It is what it is. And I think it'll always kind of be that. The entire collective human history up until this point, before social media, before computers, before AI, was just this. We're not gonna totally weed it out with a couple of cool widgets and gadgets, right? Those gadgets will be fun, and we'll talk about it. They'll be exciting and new, but at the end of the day, we're still going to do human. That's just my opinion. That's what I think. That's what I kind of came to realize driving through these towns this morning. So I thought I'd share it with you. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Obviously, if there's, I say obviously, maybe you don't know, if there is anything I can do to help you in the world of digital marketing and AI and business and all of that kind of stuff, obviously reach out. I'm always happy to help, always happy to have a conversation. And if you have some insight and you want to comment down below, do that too. I think this is just an interesting kind of a reset of realization of what the implications of all these things are. And I know myself, I get caught up in it sometimes, and a nice little reminder that there's just human things happening all around. It's not a bad thing. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.